Welcome to Bonehead Weekly, and I feel like this just happened a few months ago, but Katrina, weren't you here just a few? I mean, I know it was last year, it's probably 12 months
It
ago,
seriously,
but
it
it seems
seriously
like
feels
it was
like,
just a few months ago, right, Chad?
yeah, like I didn't realize until you all posted the countdown on Facebook that we're 23 days away.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's my biggest gap between Scarefest and Comic Con because I did do a little show that they fired me off of because I said no, I won't promote your show in Lexington because my friends own a Comic Con in Lexington. So now there's a big gap. There's a big gap in my schedule between October and March, and it still seems like it was just a few months ago. I don't know
It
why.
always is like that. Like just like a train. It's like it feels kind of slow and then all of a sudden like a train's just hurtling towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't realize,
It's like,
and
oh yeah.
I didn't realize. I mean, I did, but I didn't because I've been going through it in my mind and I've been practicing for it for years. But Chad was like, "So you got your questions?" He's basically asking me about Sam Raimi and questions. And Sam Raimi is my favorite director, and I've
Yeah.
never got to meet him. And I realized as Chad was asking me that I've actually not wrote them down. I have
Really?
hundreds.
Yeah.
It's just up
Exploding in your
here.
head.
Yeah, and then you've got Teddy with him, and now it kind of changes the dynamic. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to approach it because I have
Yeah.
no desire to ask them Evil Dead questions because the audience will do that. It's just like when I met George Romero, I didn't ask him any zombie questions. The audience does that. You don't ask the obvious things. So,
And
and
I
But you're
told Joe,
bringing
me and Joe were talking last night, not to cut you off. I said, you've got to ask Ted Raimi about Lunatic.
don't ask.
That movie is he's fantastic.
Yeah, but I don't think Katrina's seen it.
I haven't.
No, it's okay. I don't
Go
expect
on Tubi, go on Tubi and
Okay.
watch Lunatic. A
with
love
all.
it's called Lunatic, a love story, right?
Yes, yeah, he's in
Yeah.
an apartment. It's weird. It's with all of your extra time.
Yeah.
So
Bruce
what?
Campbell plays Edgar Allan Poe. You can't go wrong with this.
That's interesting.
Oh, it's a bizarre movie. Have you ever seen Bubba
It is.
Hotep with Bruce Campbell, Katrina?
Seen what?
Bubba Hotep.
Mm-mm.
He plays. He play. I. You do have to watch it. It is a really good movie. It is,
Okay.
and seriously, it's an excellent film. And Bruce Campbell plays Elvis as an old guy in a East Texas retirement home because he switched with the other Elvis, and that's the Elvis that died, and no one will believe him. So he's now dying in a retirement home, and this mummy is killing off the old people and sucking out their souls through their butts.
He forgot to mention that his best friend is an African American gentleman who thinks he's JFK.
I'm not joking. It sounds preposterous, and it is, but it is an excellent movie.
It
And I'm not
is.
joking. It really is. It's a really good movie. It
Okay.
It is
I'm
a
giving it a
chef's
shot.
kiss.
Yeah.
Like my biggest Bruce Campbell thing is Burn Notice.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's so
Yeah.
funny
he's
because
good.
he used to make jokes about it. Ha ha ha. Now I'm going to be known instead of Ash from The Evil Dead. I'm going to be known as that guy from Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it was like the first thing I saw him in was Burn Notice. So that's like when I see his face, I'm like, oh yeah, Burn Notice. And then I think Evil Dead.
Hey, by the way, did you change your last name?
No.
No? Okay, that's good. I just realized that I just said Katrina and I was like, I didn't say or didn't say anything. And I was like, oh, did she change her last name? Because you did can I say it on here?
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about that
I
you're
did
no
get
longer
married.
you got married. I was gonna say you're no longer on the market. So now, hey, let's talk about the show coming up. And what we're talking about is Lexington Comic Con. So we've got Sam Raimi, Alan Tudyk decided to go film a show. Who are
Yeah.
you excited about? Because I can go down the list and we have some pretty big names. I mean, we have
Yeah.
Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes.
Joe and I were talking. Yeah, Joe and I were talking last night. This is literally the first Comic Con where I'm not working it. If you need help, by the way, let me know. I will help in any way I
That's a
can.
dangerous offer because the answer is always.
But you know what? Bullshit.
Well, we can talk about it.
Hold on, real quick. I call bullshit on that because we were texting yesterday, and I said, I'm not doing as many panels this year. You could have me do something else. Crickets, crickets, crickets.
Well, that's because I'm really bad at answering my phone because
Yeah.
I probably got an email about something and got distracted. But
But this is literally like
Hold on,
I
she's
look
gonna
at
say
the
something.
the cat the list that have Oh, I'm sorry. You were
No,
going to
no,
say
you're fine. I was gonna say I will gladly put you to use somewhere else, Joe, but like you could eat lunch this year instead of trying to go like
Oh, that's
12
how you and
hours with no
Jared pitched.
break.
That's how you and Jared pitched. Oh, we could finally, you don't have to do the anime ones. We could have a list of do blah 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 blah. Joe needs a break. And what was my answer?
Listen,
Do you
that's a
remember it?
Jared thing because that's how Jared pitches things to me. That way he's like, this will really help you. I'm like, that's a lie, but okay.
And by the way, I'm happy for her to do it, and I'm glad to see that we finally have a woman moderator up there. Actually,
Mhm.
and we've had them before, but I want more. I just don't want to give up my job. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. But I will edit. Yeah, I'll edit a little bit. And I was like, and I spoke in the first person saying, Joe Lewis doesn't need an effing break. He may bitch about it later, but he never asked for one.
Well, this year you can take the break and take the poster behind you and get Sam Raimi on it.
Oh, I have
Ugh.
every intention of it. Although I'll tell you a quick. Well, Chad, you go, and then we're coming back. I'm so sorry.
No, I was just saying it's nothing important. It's just me and Joe were talking last night after we talked to our last guest, and this is literally the first Comic-Con where I am actually anxious about the guests because it's literally some of the most iconic people in terms of cinema history for me who like inspired me, whose movies put me in a good place, and that being Raimi and Kevin Smith. I mean, it's just two of my favorites of all time are going to be in
That's
Lexington
great.
this year at the same time. It's just amazing. And then you also got like your childhood envy of Sergeant Slaughter, for God's sakes.
Okay,
He's going to be.
so it's not your childhood, but like Steve Burns, like my childhood has Blue's Clues.
Mine does by default because my two nieces were born when I was 12 and 13, and I was locked at the hip with them. They were by my side at all times, and we always watched Blue's Clues together. And that's one of those fond memories I have of Steve Burns, is sitting with my two nieces and them cuddling on me and just watching Blue's Clues during
That's
the day.
so sweet.
So yeah, it's just one of those fond memories I have. So yeah, I got that personal tie to that as well.
So
Joe, what were you going to say?
Well, I said before, the last time that I got a lot of heat from normies and people who don't go to conventions was when we had the office people, right? That was when people were hitting me up for tickets. That's when blah, 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 blah. And then people were making phrases like my doctor going, you go to those Comic Cons. Aren't you that Comic Con guy? Not Comic Con, but Comic Con.
I got
Number
an
two.
email with that the other day.
You have what?
I got an email from somebody the other day. It's like, aren't you part of the Comic Con? It's like, there's an extra C in there. Let's just throw that in.
Yeah. The next one where people started blowing up Facebook and then messaging me and then asking me questions has been Blue's Clues, has been the three men from Blue's Clues, especially Steve. I mean, it is just, I think I was talking to Jared the other day about it. I have no idea. Didn't occur to me, but that panel will be huge. And those people are so.
Have you looked at pictures from his Salt Lake City panel?
No.
No, how big was it?
Huge. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And then we're actually the first show where it's going to have all three guys. So we're going to have Steve plus Donovan and Josh.
Yeah.
So
now my son's got into, Josh is the new guy, right? Yeah, my son's got into it a little bit. He's not particularly too crazy about it. My son would rather watch Spider-Man. That's a shock.
Well, see, I didn't watch it a lot. I watched it a little bit. Like, I remember Steve, but I was watching General Hospital with my grandmother, or Chips with my dad. I wasn't watching Blue's Clues.
Yeah. Well, but people, they just unload their hearts on him.
Yeah.
I mean, taking point, like I said, I didn't have that emotional connection, but when he made that comeback, like right after, was it January 6th or was it during COVID, where he just said, hey guys, hi, I know I've been away for a while. Like, his speech actually I got choked up a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Oh no, me too. Cause he's like, hey, I'm proud of you. It's like, oh, I needed that.
Thanks, man. It was the most uplifting thing. Not that Gail Gadot. He did amazing.
You broke up on me. All I heard was not Gail Gadot, and then something.
That Imagine bullshit video. I still get angry thinking about that thing.
But yeah, people just unload on him all their. There's just an attachment there because being middle
Yeah.
aged, I don't have, and but I can empathize with it. I understand it kind of, but it just amazes me. And I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was huge in Salt Lake. That's great.
Yeah, I think Salt Lake was his first show that he did. But I talked to him some in New York and, just chatting, talking about him coming to
Yeah.
Lexington and that sort of stuff. And he's genuinely is just so nice. But the downside to when you're that nice is I can't imagine the toll it's taking on him
Or his
on some
line.
of these shows.
It's
He's the
because I'm making that
Mr.
line go.
He's a Mr. Rogers of a different generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to feel you have to feel loved, but you also, if you have any kind of empathy, you take a lot of that in, like you were saying, and it's just got to be a weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how the panel goes. I'm actually really excited about it. At first, I was like, "What the hell? What am I going to?" And but I mean, I've got it together. But I just want to see where the questions go. The kids, the parents with their kids, all having this bonding experience all at the same time. It's going to be.
Well,
I feel
Joe's
like you're
getting
gonna
drunk on
have
bourbon, throwing expletives.
yeah, I feel like you're gonna have so much of the people wondering what he did for so long because everybody was like, I think there was another rumor that he was dead and then he was
Mhm.
just disappeared from the face of the earth. So I think you'll field a lot of questions of people saying just, what were you doing for so long?
Right. Where have you been? You went to college and we didn't see you again.
Yeah.
Show all the tattoos that he has because he is covered head to toe in tattoos. I didn't know if you knew this, Joe.
No, but you can keep on making whatever you'd like.
That is seriously one of the rumors that he wore that sweater because it covered all of his tattoos.
He
Well,
doesn't I didn't pay any attention. I don't know if he has any tattoos, but he's definitely not like covered in them if
he
he
doesn't have
does.
sleeves.
Did you never hear that rumor?
No, I just remembered like the rumor that he was like just died and disappeared and
Yeah,
died.
that was. But before that, yeah, there was this big rumor that he wore that big long sweater to cover up all of his heinous tattoos.
I don't know.
Whatever works for Nickelodeon, man.
Right. So you've got all three of the Blues Clues. We've talked now. Let's talk about the one you announced a few weeks ago, Kevin Smith. The Kevin Smith people, that's another one where people was like, "Hey, can you?" And I was like, "No." I talked to the owner the other day, and I know because you were on this call. Do you remember? I was a week post surgery, and I
Yeah.
said I never asked you for anything, which is not true. I ask for stuff all the time. But I want to meet Kevin Smith, and he's like, "I never met Kevin Smith." I was like, "Yes, you did. He made fun of you for a split second." And he goes, "Well, fine. That's all you." Well, I won't say the rest of the story.
Yeah, we'll see. Like the first year that we had Kevin, he did well, actually he came in to do the live podcast recording, did that, was nice enough to come back and do photo ops the next day.
Which
But I didn't get to meet him. And so I was like, this is my first year to really meet him.
Catrina, I'm of a certain age. Everybody else has got Steve from Blues Clues. I've already doing the panel with Jason Lee and everybody. I gotta go. Hey, I'm sick and tired of being confused with you. Although I'm a foot taller and I'm not bald in the back. I'm not going to say this joke, but for years, Kevin Smith is big for Chad and I because we're
Yes.
a little older than you, and by a little, we're 102 years older than you. Clerks hit us at that time when, in the 90s when we were leaving high school and going to college. It
Well,
was
no, I was still in high school, Joe. I was a sophomore.
Shut up, Chad. When I was in high school about to go to college.
Dude,
Chad,
I might have been a freshman, Joe.
Chad, you're only 2 years younger than me.
I know, but that was 1994, dude. I was a freshman.
I was a sophomore, junior. All right, maybe I didn't see it in college. Maybe I know I saw it when it came out on video. Oh well,
Yeah.
it's a big thing for us. So the podcast is already sold out, correct?
The
The live taping. Somebody was asking me. I thought it was
he there might be some more tickets that become available depending on the room
Venue.
requirements.
I didn't know they were
Yeah.
selling tickets to our show, and we're sold out.
Not our show. We'll get to that in a minute. We're gonna
Oh,
make. I love this hooker, but we're gonna make her tell. We're gonna get her live. We're not live. We're recording. I can always fix this, but tell her who our guest is going to be. Have you got that figured out yet?
I know who it's supposed to be. I'm waiting for confirmation.
yeah.
Giving you that look.
I'm
Although
sorry.
you did give me the sweetest thing last year during it, even though you weren't there to give it to me.
I know. I'm sad I missed it.
It was fun. Mike did a good job. Bertram did a good job. All right. So, who are you excited about?
So many.
Whatever. Tell me just who you're
Not
excited
really. So I'm really excited about Sam,
Yeah.
just because he's such a cool get. He's somebody who historically, you don't really see at shows.
Now, he's just started in the last 2 years. Really? In the last
So
few.
I'm excited to get him there, and I kind of see him. This is bad. I kind of see him as my experiment. I'm curious to see how things are behind the scenes with him as well. Like,
I'm curious what you mean by that. Yeah.
like are other guests, certain other guests, gonna be like super like fan out over him behind the scenes as well, as much as our typical attendees are gonna fan out? Like, I'm curious to see.
I'm going to have to take a breath.
Yeah.
I
Same
don't
here.
get starstruck. I don't, for the most part. I can, on one hand, less than. Do you get starstruck, Katrina?
Not really anymore.
But I will have to, that one, I'll take a breath. Seriously, that one, and if I had to do a Q&A with Kevin Smith, I'd have to take a breath with that one a little bit too. But with Sam, I'll have to shove it down and just say, and do my whole, hey, I'm Joe Lewis. I'm your moderator. Nice to meet you, Mr. Ramey. Mr. Ramey, is there anything you do want to talk about? Is there anything you don't want to talk about? Is there anything that you need to pitch while we're going?
Would you like me to cup your balls, Mr. Ramey?
I don't say that, but pretty
Well,
much
that's why you're
everything I just
failing.
said. Yeah. It's the reason why. I mean, it will second. And the other thing with Sam is Sam's an active director. Sam just made, the new Doctor Strange movie. And
Yeah,
back to what you were saying, fanning out. You said fanning out. I'm curious about how many people are hitting up for work at these shows.
that's yeah. I'm sure at least there has to be at least somebody every show.
Am I wrong? It's because it's not. I mean, I won't say who, but we were interviewing somebody and they hit us up trying to get them into a show, and we're nobody. So, just curious.
Yeah, like,
Here's something.
I see it as like a social experiment so much behind the scenes. It's like the ladder of who causes the celebrities to also
Yeah,
fan
I'd
out.
love to see it. It might be nice sitting in the green room just watching.
Yeah, I just give me some popcorn, prop my feet up. I'm just
Put it over in
watch
the
this play
corner.
out.
Well, I would prefer you have popcorn. I want some of that city barbecue.
What I really want is Section 21 soft serve ice cream from Rupp Arena, but they don't let me just steal the machines for the weekend.
That's unfortunate. Now, while I've got you on, there's a couple of questions I want to ask about behind the scenes stuff. What do you think is the toughest part of your job? I mean, you're basically the head person under the owners, and you coordinate everything, and you've taken over a lot of the responsibility, correct, in the last couple of years?
Yeah,
And you do a really good job with it, by the way.
thank you. I try.
Well, you do. Your communication is slightly better. But I also try not to be a bother. I know that you all are busy. But I'm curious, what's the hardest part?
Oh, that's a great question. I think the hardest part for me is the waiting game sometimes, because it's the back and forth of, well, I gotta check schedules, I gotta do this and this, and so you're on constantly just trying to coordinate, like, who's going to be available, who's willing to do shows, who fits into a genre or the space we have available, the deal points that make it worth it. Like, so the waiting game of, all right, this person is available, but are they willing to do it? Can they do it? That's the hardest part of my job, is just juggling that, because you're constantly like waiting to hear back from somebody.
Yeah. And you never know, like Alan Tudyk had to bow out because of filming, and these things happen. I even posted the other day, this stuff happens all the time. But
Yeah.
I know that that's something that you've worked on for a very long time.
I was very excited to meet Alan. He was
Me too.
one of my he's probably somebody that I would kind of fan out about, because
Yeah.
I love him in everything he's in. So I was sad when I got the call. I was like, okay, thanks for calling.
And you said you're still working, and we won't talk about it, but you said you're still working on a replacement, right?
Mhm. Yeah, we try to line somebody up that, and replacement's a really hard word, especially with Alan, because he
There is
fit
no replacement, yeah.
so many genres, but somebody equally as cool, even if they don't fit into all of the categories for us.
I understand that. So what's your favorite part?
What's what?
What's your favorite part once it's all put together? And I may have asked you this before, and I apologize, but I'm just curious, what's your favorite part? I get this question a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I get it every once in a while.
My favorite part is usually on Sunday night after everybody has left and I am sitting down to eat dinner and my phone's not ringing, to just sit down and look at the tags throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
The smiling faces, the happy people, the dreams that we helped make happen for some people. That's my favorite part. I'm running around all weekend seeing smiling faces, and that's great. But like, I feel like Sunday after everybody's gone home and I get to sit down, take a breather, that I really get to take in, hey, I made a lot of people very happy for this weekend.
Yeah.
And it was that's what makes it worth it.
That and the money. I'm joking. I'm joking with you. I'm joking.
But like this year, where Steve Burton is coming. He is the voice for Cloud Strife, or the former voice of Cloud Strife, and he's also Jason Morgan from General Hospital. So my soap opera heart is very excited about
I know
that.
you like soap operas, but I didn't know you liked them that much.
Do
Do
I
you
do,
still
especially
watch?
General Hospital. I try. I don't keep up with it like I used to, actually, and he left the show, so I got real mad and didn't watch for a hot minute. But
What do
it
you
was something
do?
I did with my grandmother, and it just stuck. So
Yeah, I get it. What do you do to unwind?
these lovely Legos behind me are how I unwind. So I read a lot and stuff, but Lego is the one thing that I put my phone down. Um, I zone out and I build like the creator sets, so like the townscapes, and I will go 6-7 hours, not look up, and just be like, oh, look, I have 2 floors done. And it's like, oh, I have 10 missed calls and some text messages I should probably respond to. But it turns my brain off, and sometimes I really need to do that.
Yeah, I understand that. I completely understand that. I'd like Legos, but I think he enjoys doing Legos with his mother slightly more. His mother reads instructions much better than I do.
Yeah. Once you put together Iron Man wrong, it's just you're out, Joe.
I'm out. Yeah.
You obviously aren't.
Yeah.
So.
I think what it was the Mandalorian, but yeah, you're close. You're not close. So let's talk about some of the things. Let's talk about, okay. So the dates are, oh my goodness, I haven't even looked it up.
March 23rd through the 26th.
That's right, 23rd through the 26th. And don't forget, Chad, what's March the 21st?
What? Yeah,
birthday. For the people listening, I'm flipping off Chad. So Jared has made the joke several times over the years that he does this show just for me, just for my birthday. He's even done it on Bonehead before. So yeah, first of all, let's get my birthday out of the way. Now, second of all, I'll be 108. Second of all, Thursday night is a great night. Why is Thursday night a great night? I think it's a great night. Specifically, it's called the comic collecting night, or what do you call it?
All about comics night.
All about comics. So if you're going to go shop, it's a fantastic time to go because it isn't quite actually, you know what? I thought it was kind of crowded last year on Thursday night. I took my kid.
I mean, compared to Saturday.
Oh, but the thing is people always ask me, it's like, could you have a good convention? And I do you get this? And I always wanted to say, it's the greatest side gig on earth, what I do, but it is still work. You
Yeah.
still have to put effort into it. There's a little effort into what I do. I promise. It's still work. I don't, though Saturdays, I guess you are out on the floor more than I am because I don't really see a lot of it. I'm down in the,
I don't see as much of it as I would like. I think every year I see the video recap that Brad Bear puts together for us, and I spend most of that recap going, that's an awesome cosplay. I never knew that. I didn't ever see it. I see so much in our recap videos that I'm like, I never got a chance to see any of this as it was happening. And there's a lot of running around. My watch congratulates me every so often, like, you've made a new goal. And I'm like, yeah, it won't happen again. Don't worry, Apple.
No, but we don't get to actually enjoy that part of it. We get to enjoy other things, but as far as walking around and shopping, there's not a lot. In fact, the only time I can do a little bit of it is Thursday if I take my kid in, because I think it's a good time to also, if you got it, my kid loves specifically the Lego minifigures, and they always have the people who have all the designer, the different ones that they've done, and he likes to look around. But I think Thursday night's a great night to go out and shop. If you just want to shop and you're not into celebrities, there may be some celebrities there.
You might get somebody who's in town early and wants to come over, and they themselves shop and look around and hang out. And then all of our comic guests start on Thursday. So if you want to beat the commission line, if you're going to want a commission or to really get some one-on-one time with a creator, like, you go on Thursday.
Excuse me. And last year I was in a booth, looked around, excuse me, because I had a few minutes on Sunday, and I'll be damned, it's like, Rosenbaum?
Yeah.
Hey, you're the panel guy. And I was like, yes, I am.
Yeah, Rosenbaum was great. He is just, I remember I went to go give something to his agent, and all of a sudden he rolls out from underneath the table. I was like, where did you come from? He's like, oh, I'm down here. And I'm like, hi.
Where was this at? In the green?
At his booth, but he was just chilling under the table.
Oh,
so he
yeah.
rolls out and he's like, hi.
I could imagine. He was shopping for toys. He was doing the same damn thing I was, because he's a nerd. Actually, I'm a big fan of his podcast. I never really watched Smallville, but I'm a big fan of his podcast.
I didn't really watch Smallville either, but his podcast is great. I'm lucky in that I have a Lucas around, so I usually, me and Lucas work together 5 days a week, so he knows what toys I'm looking for. So usually he'll be like, yo, I'm at this booth, so and so has it. I'm like, buy it, I'll pay you back.
Oh, that's nice. I could get Lucas to do shit for me. I was trying to get him to find some obscure Ghostbusters toy for my kid at Christmas. He goes, I don't have that. That's all I got was I don't have that. Anyway.
Lucas can help you add an event. If it's not in that store, you're out of luck.
I know. I was out of luck. So that's Thursday night. Friday night and Friday day, we open at what time?
Noon to 8.
Noon to 8. And then not only do we have the celebrities there as they kind of trickle in through the Friday, you can still shop. That's when the panels and stuff start. And there's a couple of live podcasts that night. One of them is Bonehead Weekly. We're at 6 o'clock, and we're going to have a special guest that Catrina just won't say here, but that's okay. I keep wanting to announce it. And then you've got another one at 7 o'clock. Who's that?
The Plotline.
Who are
I guess they do.
I do know them.
The Plotline?
Yeah. I just saw it on the web. I didn't know about it. I was like, oh, look, it's our sauce at 6 and they were at 7. You don't know that much about them either. Okay, cool.
I know. They filled out a panel application to come do a live recording. They do, I think they talk about 80s movies and stuff like that.
They just as long as they don't step on our toes, we'll get in a fist fight with them, Chad. You want to fight them?
We'll go West Side Story on them.
You trying to snap your fingers?
Are we the Jets? Would we be the Jets?
We're the uncoolest ones.
Okay.
And then Saturday,
I haven't seen West Side Story.
Saturday is the batshit nut crazy day.
Yeah.
Saturday,
Saturday is when I get all my miles in.
it's just like I said, I'm not around it as much on the floor because we've got panels going one after another with the celebrities. But Saturday is a lot of people, and Saturday will sell out. Has Saturday sold out yet?
Not yet, but I wouldn't wait much longer to get
Right.
your tickets if you're waiting.
That brings me to another question on Sat. So how have we been able to expand since the reconstruction of the convention center? Have we been able to up our numbers? Can you talk about this? No. Damn it.
So, by all accounts, the building is technically square footage wise bigger. I have I
Differing
don't
thoughts.
feel like I get more people in there yet.
I agree, especially that first floor because they all kind of congregate on the first floor. Are panels going to be on the second floor again?
Panels are on the second floor. If you go down the escalators, the main
Mm-hmm.
photo ops, the two main rooms where you will be are to your left. To the
Yeah.
right will be the pavilion rooms,
Uh-huh.
where it will be the game rooms, cosplay central, and the fan panel rooms. And then Reed Masterson is doing an illusion show in there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well.
Is that for any ticket or do you have to pay for that?
It is an additional ticket.
It's an additional ticket. Yeah. Well, I think I saw him a few years ago. It's a lot of fun. So I will say that it's probably worth the money. Now, growing the convention, how much would you like to grow it?
I mean,
Come on, you can't talk about a little bit of this.
it'd be great to have a huge convention.
We're already bigger than probably the next 3 cities, aren't we?
Yeah, relatively depends on the city and who's putting the show together.
Yeah.
I would love to keep growing the show and get bigger space and more room and more guests and
You
but
know what? Go ahead.
that is one of the hardest things about doing planning for the show is you take into account how much space you have. Um, if I book Chris Evans, where am I going to put him? Because that line's going to be really long. So, and that's something that's always interesting. People who come to us in the past 2 years will know that that line gets too long, and we literally stack people on the dock.
Yeah.
To in queue lines for overflow. Um, so
Who was the
the
big
room does
line?
have or not the room, but the building does have a finite amount of space.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I agree with you. I know it's supposed to be bigger, but a lot of times I just think the behind the scenes is bigger. The actual floor is the same as it ever was.
Yeah, it's like that's one of the things in our meetings. Like, well, you have so much more space, and I'm like, do I? It doesn't feel like it.
Don't you think behind house or what, back of house, it's bigger and front of house is about the same, but that's just a personal thing. Anyway, who was the big line last year? Who was the big one?
Last year, Giancarlo Esposito had a big line.
Oh, he was so sweet to me after I got
So
to go.
nice.
I went Sunday because I didn't because they had to get him in. He did a fantastic job on his pen and then when I went over, he just was it was right as it was ending Sunday because I was trying to get things and we had panels to them. And he was just and I was like, hey, just wanted to get a picture if I could and he was great and he was fantastic about it. And he made a joke. He said, I was going to make this joke when I met you yesterday, but I didn't. And I was like, yeah, you know how I know you're over 50 because you're going to make a Joe Louis joke with the boxing. And he laughed and he was so nice. Him and Ray Wise. I wanted to get a picture with both of them because I'm big fans of both.
That was my one picture last year that I was like, I have to have this picture is with Ray Wise because of
Did you do a
Reaper. Like
photo op? Yeah, no, we love
I
Reaper, Chad
didn't.
and I.
I swung by and snagged a picture at his booth. Is the downside that Alan canceled, but on the upside, maybe next year that means I get my Tucker and Dale reunion with Tyler, who was in Reaper.
I agree. I think you should make it happen. I mean,
He was busy our weekend already, so I tried.
busy doing what? Working?
I He had some kind of a personal commitment,
Yeah,
so
I understand. I know. And we'll get Alan back. I know. So that's Saturday. Is there anything else I need to highlight about Saturday? Oh, the cosplay contest.
yes. Costume contest is Saturday at 6 p.m.
6, yeah. And Kevin, I think it's going on the same time Kevin Smith is doing his live show.
Yes. I'm very sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It was how we had to kind of work Kevin's schedule, and hopefully it draws different crowds and no one's too mad at me about it.
Well, it has to draw different crowds. There's just different people with different interests, but that's okay. That's okay. But the costume contest, I love the. So when we do Huntington, we'll ask about Huntington in a second. That's actually one of the parts other than staying in the hotel room and not being responsible for everybody and being able to drink. Because in Lexington, I live in Lexington, so I don't get to stay in the room downtown. But one of the things I do like about is doing the cosplay contest at Pullman Square. It's always fun, and I love the kids in the costumes. I just love doing it with Mike Bartram.
Doing it in the square is so awesome because you really get a chance to like spread out. Lexington, we're confined to a room.
Yeah.
We have an entire square for Huntington.
And people will, and all those people and the Starbucks and everything outside of the square, and there was always the drink vendors. They all stop there and they're watching. I just enjoy it so much. It's a lot of fun to do it there.
It definitely feels very community driven in Huntington.
Yeah,
It is in Lexington too, but
it's just the outside and people.
Not just the Comic Con community.
People are slightly are very nice in Huntington.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. Not that they're not in Lexington, but they're just a little bit. I don't know. It's just a little bit more. I can't put my thumb on it. I don't know how to explain it without pissing people off. But anyway, so and the VIP party is Saturday night as well.
Yes, and I will tell you this first. Our band for the VIP party Saturday night party is Tom Kenny and the High Seas. So SpongeBob's band will be there doing our VIP party.
You want to come down to that VIP party.
Oh yeah.
And Tom's a great guy. We had Tom a couple years ago. So nice.
Tom is SpongeBob. I mean, he's not SpongeBob, but he is kind of SpongeBob. He is the nicest. He is he's just an animatic. And he's the sweetest person.
Oh yeah, and we're lucky enough that most guests that we get are extremely nice, and that makes all the difference in the world. But there are certain people that stand out as being just genuinely so nice, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
If I had a Shakes the Clown poster, I would ask him to sign it.
You should totally order one.
There's some time. You got this.
Yeah.
It's got to be one on eBay. Well, that's cool. As much as I like Freddie and the Krugers, that's cool that we've got a celebrity doing a band. That's awesome. All right.
It was a hard decision, but
yeah, I get it. No, I mean, yes, they're awesome, but you've had them before. They've been at Scarefest. They've been there. It's not unless
but they're a staple at this point.
They are a staple, and they're a great '80s cover band. And I'm just saying it's changing it up. Unless you're talking about me, in which case you leave me alone. Damn it. All right, forget it. I was hoping she would giggle. Anyway, so Sunday, what time do we open? 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
10 to 4.
10 to 4, and that's kind of our mop-up day. So
what's 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. Got it. So what are we doing on Sunday? What's special? I know I've got some panels going on. We've got another anime panel, and then we also have a couple more celebrity panels. What else?
Ooh,
I was trying to think
of what else is going on. Sunday is a great day to go pick up your commissions from the artists if you haven't done so.
Yeah.
Over in
They'll be
Artist
gone.
Alley. Yeah. 5 o'clock, they're on the road home. So if you bought a commission, definitely make sure you pick that up on Sunday. I think Larry Hama here, so it's like
Okay.
why didn't you go back for your commission, guys?
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I tell people that Sunday's a good day to get autographs. It's not as crazy, but the problem is with Sunday is sometimes celebrities have to catch flights.
Yes.
So
So
last year it was nice because I got to see Giancarlo and Ray Wise, I was and I got to meet them on the panel too, but I got just that extra minute just because they were signing towards the end, till the bitter end. But it's not always normally that way, especially with big stars. They have other commitments and they got flights to catch on Sundays.
yeah, you want to get in there if you're waiting until Sunday, you want to get in there early, get the guys girls that you are desperate for, and
Yes.
then circle back around for people who, if they, if you miss out on them, it's not the end of the world.
So is Kevin Smith signing Saturday and Friday or just Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday only.
Just Saturday only. And he's only doing the show. So he won't be there Friday or Sunday.
No. And then Tom Kenny will only be there on Friday and Saturday.
Okay. What about Jason Lee? I'm trying to think of the other ones. All 3 days?
Jason Lee and Jamie Presley are both Saturday, Sunday only. And
Okay.
so is Sam Raimi.
Okay. But they will be there Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. Just
He'll be
making
there
sure.
Sunday.
Well, I don't, as you said earlier, and for the people who watch or listen to the show, there is at least 2 Sam Raimi movies behind me. There's Dark Man and Evil Dead 2, and that Evil Dead 2 is signed, which leads me to my other story. Ted Raimi, I met at Scarefest. I walked up, and normally this is a bitch. This is really a first world bitch. I was like, hey, yeah, moderator, yeah, can you sign it? And I had to pay. I know. I'll let it go someday.
I've paid for several at our own shows.
At your own show.
It happens.
I know. It just hadn't happened a lot to me. So I think I should probably let it, especially, well, we'll talk about this later. I don't want to, he was very nice. And actually, we had a long conversation, and I'll tell you about it once we're done with this.
Okay.
All right. And speaking of which, we've kept you on here like 40 some minutes. Chad, do you have any questions? I feel like
I'm just if you're listening to us, you please have to go to Comic Con. It is a once a year experience that you cannot miss.
yeah.
Last year was the first year I took both of my daughters, and they explored the floor. It's kind of funny. Every year I go there with my kids, there's always an experience. And last year was an amazing experience with my youngest daughter, Haley, who was 6 at the time, going up to, oh shoot, I'm blanking. Catherine Sutherland,
Mm-hmm.
and telling her how the Pink Power Ranger is her favorite and how she loves all the moves that she does. And Catherine just came around the table, got down to her height, and talked to her for 5 minutes. And my daughter was ecstatic. I didn't pay for an autograph. I didn't do anything, but she took the time to talk to her. And that's a memory I'll cherish forever. And it's because of Comic-Con. So you go to Comic-Con to get those experiences. The dorkiness and all the amazing stuff is second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell people that have never been to come and just look around. Like, you will never know what you're going to find that you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I had no idea this was here. One of my best friends, we've been super close since we were 5. This world is so weird for her. Like, she does not understand it. But we went to dinner recently, and her husband is into video games and stuff, and he was asking me questions. He's like, your job's like cool, right? I was like, now you just need to come together, because I know he would have a great time, and I know if she came, she would just take it all in and be like, this is way different than I gave it credit for.
Catrina, your job is cool though, right?
It's cool.
I know it's aggravating. I know it sucks sometimes. I've seen the rooms. I've seen the behind the scenes of arguments before. Not as much as other people, but some. but it's pretty
pretty
good.
cool.
It's not a bad life, is it?
No.
No.
I'm definitely gonna go gray early, but it's not a bad job.
It's not a bad job. No. No, when people ask me what is it fun? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
It could be the worst. Yeah, it's
It's
fun.
it is a lot of work. Uh, People don't truly understand how much work goes into an event like this, but it's worth it, and especially if people come out, have fun, and enjoy themselves, and it's worth it. It is. It's worth the stress sometimes.
All right, before we get off here, do you want to put a plug in for Huntington coming up in August?
Yes. Well, actually, before we talk about Huntington, I will put a
Oh,
plug in for
sorry, I forgot.
Lexington. We have not covered many comic guests coming this year.
I am so
I know
sorry.
I was getting ready to mention that.
We forgot about the comic people.
I
But
I
I
am
apologize.
I am so stoked that you got Peter Tomasi.
Peter is great. I'm excited for him. Jim Starlin. I mean, I've
Yes.
met Jim Starlin before, but it's Jim Starlin. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
With Guardians, you're gonna come meet Jim Starlin. And then we have a lot of people this year that are new to us. Javier Saltras, who did Ghost Rider in the 90s, is
Mhm.
that one is just amazing. I'm excited. I have a commission list going on right now. I'm like, all right, any commissions from this person and this person, and I shouldn't say this because I don't want him to get busy on me, but Brian Level does amazing commissions. Like his work is absolutely spectacular. I have a couple from him, and I get one every time I see him at a show or he comes to our show. Bob Hall's coming, so who doesn't love West Coast Avengers? Kyle Starks, who did Rick and Morty.
Mhm.
At this point, I consider Kyle probably, I wouldn't say we're best friends, but I'd consider him a best friend at this point. I don't think I'll ever do a show where Kyle's not. I don't force Kyle to come to it.
Well, yeah, but you left out my drinking buddy.
I talked to him the other day though.
Did
He was
you?
busy for March, but we'll see him soon.
Will
We'll
we
see
see
him in
him
Huntington.
in August?
Yeah, we'll see him in
Because
August.
because he's supposed to have done Bonehead, and we've just not actually got it worked out. But yeah, you can't. Can I say his name?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna bring Shooter, right? I mean, I've got to have somebody to drink with in Huntington.
I love Jim.
I do too. We hit it off. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
Jim was great when we
he's
talked.
so nice.
Oh wait,
But
no, I'm not talking about Jim Shooter. Never mind, I'm talking about somebody else.
Yeah, you're talking about Bo.
Yeah.
Bo.
Bo will be there. Bo Smith's gonna be in Lexington,
Yeah,
so
Bo Smith is Bo did our show, and we got along during the panel, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Not because I don't ask everybody. You just don't, because that's not professional. But if you hit it off with somebody and you kind of hang out and talk, I was like, if you ever want, oh sure, I'll do it. And he was a fantastic guest, Chad.
Yes.
Remember,
so
he had some of the
awesome.
best. Have you ever listened to the episode, Catrina? No, you
I
haven't.
haven't, but I need to. But
Now,
Bo's great.
Bo's
Like
great, and he talked about stuff that wasn't necessarily we had a lot of conversations that weren't about comics.
he's a huge reader, and Bo's just a fun guy. But my favorite thing ever is when you get Bo Smith and Clint McElroy together at the
Uh-huh.
comic shop and you just talk comics for a little bit. That's my favorite thing.
I can imagine because they're nerds.
They are.
They're just
They are.
nerds.
Clint comes into the shop and I don't talk about D&D or the Adventure Zone. I'm like, what you reading with Marvel this week? Like, what's up? You
Yeah.
like that last issue?
Yeah, absolutely. They're just nerds. They're just big ass nerds who are very successful.
And some of my favorite conversations with Shooter we'll talk, old movies. So I think part of the drive back to the airport when he was in Huntington was just talking about Casablanca, and because it's one of my favorite movies
Yeah.
and he really enjoys it too. So we were just quoting the movie back and forth to each other for a little bit. Katie was probably very lost. I'm not sure she's ever seen it
Oh, I
because she
doubt
was
the
with
ladies
us.
will. Yeah.
But my husband makes fun of me all the time because he's like, when it comes to comics, Shooter's the villain. He's like, are you the villain? I'm like, maybe. If being friends with Shooter's the villain, sign me up.
Listen, he just made the trains run on time at Marvel.
He did so much for the industry and for the guys at Marvel that people want to gloss over because it's a cool story to talk about him like he's the villain.
But he
But
made the trains run on time. People turned
he,
in work.
he did hard work, and he is one of my favorite people to see at shows and to have at shows. Um, he, like I said, he called me the other day and we just chit chatted for a little bit and talked about him coming to our later shows in the year. But I love him so much.
Well, he probably's already forgotten me. I swear to God, the other time we talked, the last, it wasn't that one, but it was right before this. And I go, I'm Joe Lewis. We've done this several times before. And he goes, I don't remember your name, but you're the professional one. I think it was the best compliment I've ever gotten. It's right up there. It's one of the top three because you can hear him saying it, right? It was just
Oh
no
yeah.
jokes. It's like, I don't ever remember your name, but you're the professional one.
Yeah, well, he called. He's like, well, he goes, I was looking for an email and I didn't have it, but I had your phone number, so I hope it's okay that I called you. He goes, I just really love your show, and I'm like, oh, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, we both have sassy things to say about somebody else in another show too, so we bonded. Anyway, so we've got through the comics creators, and thank you for reminding me. Plug in for Huntington. Huntington is moved from June to August this year.
Yes, we're moving to August, and the college kids should be in
I didn't
town.
think about that. Marshall will be in full swing almost.
Marshall will be back in full swing, and doing it in June was always great and fun, but you always got quite a few people who are like, "Oh, I'm on vacation, or I'm doing this, that, I'm not."
I've had to
uh,
move my vacation around the last 2 times too. So yeah,
but,
no, it
it's
was
they're close. They're like, "I won't be back at school until this date." So, they offered us the August date, and we said, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's test it out."
no. I hadn't even thought about Marshall being back. That's going to be great. It should add a whole new layer. Huntington, the reason why I enjoy it so much, other than just go get away for 48 hours from responsibility, is that it is a smaller, it is a little bit smaller, it's a little bit more intimate, it's all right there. And Huntington's so walkable.
Yes. And
There's
especially
very
like
good
the downtown
restaurants.
area.
Yeah.
You have restaurants, you have your hotel, the convention center, shops, it's all
10
in a
minute
couple
walk.
block radius.
Yeah, it really is. It's all in a 10-minute walk. And a lot of the restaurants are really good. I never get to go to them. I only get as like, for example, Shooter last year kept me from getting dinner, but that's okay. I'm a fat guy.
If there's ever a good reason to miss out on dinner.
It was the perfect reason. I ordered pizza at like 11 something that night. Finally found
So
somebody that would deliver.
with Shooter, we went I was showing him how to get to Lex Live one year, and he wouldn't let me leave until he bought me a drink. So then I ended up at the bar having drinks with Shooter, and one of the kids that works for us, and I say kid, he's like 24.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, who's that guy you're at the bar with?" I was like,
It's my
"Oh,
boyfriend.
honey." Like, I was like, "You read comics." And I started talking to comics. He's like, "Wait, that's that guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's that guy." He goes, "You got drinks with that guy?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk about it, but he's the nicest guy. But anyway, so you can't announce any guests yet for Huntington,
Not
other
yet.
than we will have our buddy.
Joe
Okay.
Lewis.
Joe, yeah, unless something happens, and I'm all excited. I can't wait. And we may even be, yeah. So I can't talk about anything, can I? I can't talk about anything.
There might be a whole other show coming soon.
Well, there, you said it, so I won't get yelled at.
Yeah, no, you didn't say it. I said it.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited because I got called about it the other night. So
Yeah, we have another announcement in the works, and it's exciting.
it is. It is. I love growing. In fact, that's what I've told you and Jared for the last, 2 years is I really, would you sons of bitches just add some more shows? Because I just want to work more.
I would love to, but man, shows are a lot of work.
I know. What do you think your maximum is? Come on, 6? I know.
I think we're at 4 now. Let's see how 4 rides for
Three and a
for a
half.
minute.
3.5. It's That's the 1 day thing. It's 3.5. All right.
3.5.
3.5. All right, Chad. Anything to add other than come on out and hang out with us? Oh, and Bonehead Weekly, we had a really good time. We didn't have the best attendance last year. I think we only had about 15 or 20 people, but those folks who were coming out, come out to Bonehead Weekly Friday night. We had a great time, and we had some audience participation, and we had a lot of fun.
And I still hold true that Blank Man is an underappreciated classic.
And we haven't picked out. We will talk about our guest hopefully coming up soon. I'll be able to announce that. And I don't think I have anything else to add. You got anything else you want to plug or tell them to do?
If you made it to the end of this podcast, you should email Joe about getting some free tickets.
There you go. Email me about getting some free tickets for Lexington Comic Con. This has been Joe Lewis, Chad Jennings, and Catrina Hensey, because she refuses to change her last name. What is his last name?
What if I want to disappear? When I disappear
don't even
from the
know.
world, I'm going to change my name and just.
I don't think I've ever met him. I don't think I've ever met your husband.
Have you not?
I don't think so.
No.
He
comes up for a day.
Oh, okay. Well, he's just introduced.
I'll make sure you guys meet this year.
Oh, hey, look, the fat bearded guy is going gray. That's Joe, and just bring him over.
I think you guys have been at a VIP party. It's been a couple years, but
was I drunk? I don't remember.
I mean, probably. I know I was. So
is that the year Jared walked up and kissed me?
Maybe. It was been.
That was 2 years ago.
I think it was like 2019 when you met him, so I'll reintroduce you.
Okay, reintroduce me. All right, well, we're going to end this podcast. Thank you so much. And you said email me for some free tickets. So what tickets are you talking about before I get bombarded?
Well, how about a set of weekend tickets?
Okay.
And then some Thursday tickets and a sprinkle of Friday and maybe a few Sunday.
Sounds good. Just email me about that. Reach out to Joe Lewis. I'm on Evil Joe on Twitter, and you can find me on Joe Lewis on Facebook, and reach out. Or Chad Jennings. You could also contact him, but he probably won't respond.
We will say that the first, 2 people that email you get sets, like 2 sets of weekend tickets?
Yeah, the first 2 people who contact me about free tickets who listen to this can have 2 sets. That's fine. I'll take care of it.
There you go.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Catrina. It's always a pleasure. This has been Bonehead.